This is the story of a girl who cried a river and drowned the whole world.
How do you know?
And while she looked so sad in photographs,
Well, first and foremost, the best way to figure out if you're gay is to think about this. If you personally have to ask yourself if you're gay, I mean, if you're going on the internet, looking up this video, watching this right now as we speak, the fact that you have to ask yourself if you are that way is a pretty good indicator that you might be gay. Now, I'm not trying to scare you or make you wonder, but if you honestly have to ask yourself that question, then that means you've already thought about this more than once in the past. This isn't a question you're just randomly thinking of one day in science class. This is something that you've thought about more than once before. This isn't something new for you. This is something you've already thought about, that's already crossed your mind, that's already ran through your head millions of times, like a movie, in repeat. A lot of the time, we ask ourselves this question because we do things that are out of the ordinary to ourselves compared to the rest of society. Unfortunately, society has made it very difficult, not necessarily these days, but more in the past. Because right now we have a pretty accepting society that's very open and very tolerant, which we're very lucky we're growing up in this society in this generation. But it wasn't always like that. It was difficult, especially growing up as a child. You're raised and brought up and you're told to believe that it's really just one way or the other, you know? You're not really, like let's say for me, when I grew up, I was told, okay, Alexa, which boy do you like in school? What boy do you want to go out with? What boy do you want to go to the dance with in junior high? I always got boy. I never heard girl. So your whole life, you just sort of believe that's the way it's supposed to be. You're led to believe that because you watch movies like The Little Mermaid with princesses, Beauty and the Beast, Pocahontas. You watch all these movies where they have princes, not necessarily princesses, obviously. So, when you're a kid, you believe this is the way that it's supposed to be. So, in your entire life, in your mind, you know that your sexuality is supposed to be straight. You're supposed to have that kind of life. And when you're not having that kind of life, when you're having other desires, when you're having other notions, other thoughts in your head, that's when you begin to ask yourself. And that's when you go into videos like this for answers. Now that may seem not extremely thorough and it may seem extremely vague, but it's very true. I mean, if you honestly are not sure about your sexuality, and the fact that you have to ask yourself about that, the fact that you have to ask yourself, now think about it this way. You know yourself better than anybody else in this world. Nobody knows you better than you. So if you have to ask yourself that question, then I think it's a pretty clear indicator. Now, there's other things, in my opinion, that are also good indicators to show if you like the same sex. Here's an example from an experience I had as a child. When I was a little kid, I had a crush on the singer Brandy. I don't know if you've heard of her or not. She was really big around the 1996, 1997, 98, 99 time period. I guess 96 to 99, she was pretty popular. She had this show called Moesha. It was a hilarious show. It only, I think, had, I don't know how many seasons. I think it had 4 or 5 seasons, maybe 6. I'm not too sure. I have to look that up. I should know this. I'm a film buff. Not as much as a TV buff, but I'm a film buff. But I'm pretty sure it was a 6-season show. It was very funny. It was a sitcom, laugh track, all that jazz. The thing about that show is, I'm kind of digressing here, but that show kind of got really dramatic toward the end, so I didn't like it as much. But the point is, when I was a little kid, I would have my mom record that show for me because I loved Brandy. I had a crush on her, so I would say, like, okay, Mom, can you please record this show for me? It's on every Friday night. I really need you to record it. Please, 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 please. And so she would do that every week. And so every week I'd be watching this Moesha show. And it wasn't just Moesha. Any show that Brandy put out, any music, any CD, anything. She was a triple threat. I loved her. She could sing and dance and act. I loved her. She was so beautiful and talented. She was my first crush. Point is, Um, I didn't know at the time that it was a crush. I thought it was just, I looked up to her. But the fact that I had to keep watching her, the fact that she was the person I dedicated all my time to, she was the person that, I spent my money on. I'd go buy my CDs, for Brandy. I wouldn't be buying an NSYNC CD. I didn't have my mom record the Backstreet Boys concert. I didn't buy Aaron Carter posters. I bought Brandy posters. So now looking back to my childhood, it's clear now for me that I liked girls. But when you're that little, you don't think much of it. You just kind of think, oh, she's my celebrity idol. I love this person. So that could be one way, is if you were a kid and you had, like you said, you don't know for sure if it was a crush, but if you gave all your attention to somebody that was the same sex, whether it was a celebrity, movie star, singer, songwriter, dancer, it doesn't matter who it is. If you're giving your attention, it's the same sex to that person. It's a little bit of an indicator, in my opinion. Now, because of the fact that you're a little kid, it's excused. Your parents automatically think, oh, well, this person's just an idol for this person. And that, a lot of the time, that could be the case as well. But for me, it wasn't the case. For me, I thought Brandy was so beautiful. I always thought to myself, if she came up to me and gave me a hug and kissed me, I would love it. And that was my thought process. But that was something that was an example for me. That might not be true for you. A way to find out if you're gay is just to kind of explore. In all honesty, you don't have to tell anybody about it. It could be between you and yourself. Go explore. If this is something you feel like you have to find out for yourself, then do it. Because this is something that never goes away, unfortunately. If you really are a lesbian, gay, bi, it's unfortunately, well, it's not unfortunate. You know what? I'm actually proud to be gay. I'm proud of who I am. I'm the same person that I've always been. I just like girls, and that's all. And I'll come out with a coming out video. This is just a answering question if you're gay video. But, so that's another video another day. But in all honesty, if you really are curious, the best way to find out if you like the same sex, other than just kind of asking yourself why you're asking yourself that question. That's the first answer I have. But the second answer is just explore. Go on dating sites. Another way is if you give more of your attention to a girl than a guy. Like this, and I'm sorry guys, this video is more directed toward women because I am a woman, so I figure women can relate to a woman a lot better than a girl in a guy relation. So sorry. But girls, honestly, let's say you have a friend, okay? Let's say you have a friend that you find attractive. Now, this is the best way to describe attraction. Attraction is when you have to be around that person all the time. Let's say you get a text message from somebody you're attracted to. If you're attracted to them and they text you, you're excited. You're filled with excitement and you're happy and you can't wait for them to text you. Like you're staring at your phone constantly, wondering when they're going to text message you. You're like, okay, when's this person going to text me? I've already texted them. It's been, 5 minutes? So that could be one way, is if, obviously you're sitting by the phone waiting for someone to answer your text. That's kind of a crush. Or when you just always want to be around that person, or let's say that person touches you. Like, I remember when I was a little kid, when I had a crush, like if a girl touched me on the shoulder or hugged me, I remember I would go home and think about that for the rest of the day. Like that was something that was always on my mind. So, and that continued in high school for me too, especially high school. High school is when I honestly started to come to terms with college is when I came to terms with my sexuality. I came out when I was 21. No, I'm sorry. Oh, my ages are messed up today. I'm 21 right now. I think I was 20 because it was last January. So yes, I was 20, and I had came out to my mom. Well, who did I come out to first? I'm so scattered right now, guys. Sorry about that. I came out to my best friend first, my best guy friend, who ironically was somebody I dated for 2 years. I came out to him first, and then I decided to come out to my best friends, and then I came out to my mom. And that was after I had decided for sure I was gay. Make sure for sure you're gay before you decide to come out. That sounds like common sense, but don't go ahead and blurt it out of excitement. Wait till you know for sure. But a way to know for sure if you're gay is by crushes. If you honestly have a crush on the same sex, like if you like attention more from girls than guys, if you feel more when a girl touches you on the shoulder. Like, let's say, I'm going to give you a scenario, okay? Let's say a girl and you are sitting in the car, and let's say she touches your leg by accident, but if she touches your leg, do you get a reaction from that? Like, does that make you feel good? Is that something you think about for the rest of the day, or is it just something you kind of shrug off? Because here's the thing, girls notice every little thing. It's funny. They notice everything. They notice when you touch them. They notice when you look at them. They notice when you make eye contact. They notice when you don't make eye contact. They notice when you talk too fast. They notice when you pretty much do anything, unfortunately. They notice when you got your hair done, when you got your eyebrows done. They notice everything. So girls will definitely notice when you touch them. And so if you have somebody touch you that you're attracted to, or just somebody touch you, and it gives you this feeling like that you just don't stop thinking about for the rest of the day. It's something that's on your mind. When you're sleeping, that's what's on your mind compared to your phone conversation with your boyfriend. You know, if that's something you're thinking about more than your phone conversation with your boyfriend, I think you're having some trouble. I think you have to reevaluate your life a little bit. Okay? So I would honestly, if you're curious, go on a dating site. See if there's people out there who are curious as well, just like you. What I would do is maybe go on a date. Not necessarily a date, maybe go hang out with somebody and see, or just kind of look around and see if you're attracted to someone like that. Because if you're having feelings of liking the same sex, you might as well go out and explore them and see if you do. Because those feelings don't go away, like I said before. They stay with you forever. Mine stayed with me. And I didn't really come to the realization I liked them. Like, here's the thing about that. You have to admit to yourself first that you're gay before anything else, first and foremost. You have to admit to yourself that you might like the same sex. If you admit that to yourself, then you're not only helping yourself, but, I mean, you're making it easier on yourself, you know, because now that you know you like something, you can go explore that and then find out for sure. So, my best advice is to admit it to yourself that you might like the same sex. And once that happens, go find out for sure, and once you know for sure, then you come to terms with it. And it takes time, and that's something you have to tell yourself every day, and it's something that you just have to be proud of eventually. Now, you don't have to be proud of it. You could hide it, keep it a secret forever. That was something I was honestly tempted to do for a long time. I was like, well, maybe if I keep this a secret and no one knows about it, it won't be a big deal, you know. And that was something I told myself actually all through high school. Was like, you know, if I don't admit it to myself, then it's not true, which is true. But it began to torture me more because I actually had a crush on my friend in high school, my best friend. I had a crush on her, so I remember when I had a crush on her, every time I saw her with a guy, it was torture for me. Every time I saw her give him attention and not me attention, it was torture. So it hurt, and it began to hurt so much that I knew I had to tell myself to go look for something that'll give me more satisfaction, something that'll make me feel better inside. So, you know, all through high school I dated guys, and it just didn't make me feel right. It didn't feel real. It felt very platonic to me. It just didn't feel like something I desired. I desired women, you know. Before I went to bed, I would think about a girl, and not in that way. But I would honestly just think about a girl. I'd be like looking forward to seeing that girl the next day at school or at work or wherever. So my best advice is to explore it and to admit it to yourself and to be proud of who you are. Because you're stuck with yourself for the rest of your life. And you can constantly improve yourself, and you can constantly realize that things get better and they get easier. And if you honestly are gay, we live in a society that's much more accepting, and luckily, I mean, it's become part of culture. It's part of something that's becoming accepted and legal in a lot of states. So, in all honesty, be proud of who you are. And if you're still not too sure, just go find out and experiment. You don't have to tell anybody about it. And see where it goes from there. This was Alexa Kachinska, and I hope all your questions were answered. I try to answer as best as I can. If you have any more questions, just email me or go look at other YouTube videos and see what they have to say. See how another perspective can help you out in this situation. Alright, well, I hope you have a great night, guys, and thank you so much for watching. Bye.